Hey everybody, I'm Avalanche fan here with Let's Review a Game. But today, I'm not just going to review a game, I'm going to compare two different kinds of games that are kind of sort of rivals. Those two sets of games are the World Championships versus the Tag Forces. Now, as I already mentioned, I didn't mention it, but I did a review already of Yu-Gi-Oh! World Championship 2011, so I'm not going to go as far in depth with this game. But I am going to compare the differences between these two games. Now, to this day, I do have all the 5Ds championships, 2009, 2010, and 2011. As for the Tag Force, I do have technically Tag Force 1, which is on the PS2, or Beginning of Destiny, which is Yu-Gi-Oh! GX. I also have Yu-Gi-Oh! Tag Force 2. Sad to say, I couldn't find 3 anywhere English version-wise, and then I have 4 and 5. So, these games, they're both very well, especially these two games, the newer ones. They're both very well done, but there are some key differences with both sets of games. Now let's start with the World Championship games. With the World Championship games, the storyline is very straightforward. As you know, if you played the first Yu-Gi-Oh! 5D's World Championship, which had been Stardust Accelerator or World Championship 2009, the game starts off with you being in the satellite and eventually working your way to New Domino City and becoming champion. Now, in World Championship 2010 or Reverse of Arcadia, you don't start off as a champion, but you do start off in New Domino City at the Fortune Cup, which is where the first one ended. And then it moves on eventually to the Dark Signers and facing off against Goodwin. Then this one starts right after it. It's right after the Dark Signers were beaten, and it moves on with Iliastra, which is currently airing right now for Yu-Gi-Oh! So the gameplay with the World Championship games, it's very straightforward, and it keeps going on, which is good. As for the graphics of this game, as I mentioned in my review of this game, graphics are good. They weren't as good in the first World Championship with 2009. But then again, they were just kind of, I guess maybe they were just testing it. But with 2010, 2011, they really impressed the graphics a lot. They sort of changed the music a bit with the Duels. It sounds like the music from 2010, but it's kind of remixed a little bit. And as for the Duels themselves, especially when dueling with a computer, let's say, now, I don't know if you've experienced this in the World Championship games. You may know that when you're dueling a computer or AI, it'll have that little white bar with dots coming up showing their opponents are they're thinking to making a move. And that can be a little annoying, but with this game, it doesn't last too long. I think the most I've ever had to wait was maybe like a minute. But that's the most I've ever waited. Other than that, it's pretty fast. So, overall, the World Championship games are very good. There's no question about that. Now, with the Tag Force games, the Tag Force games are very good. There's no question about that. But there's a lot of differences that I don't necessarily like about the game. The first thing I gotta mention is the storyline. Basically, unlike the World Championship, where the storyline is you play duel after duel to unlock the next event, this one, it's on the same kind of path. You are still dueling to unlock the next event, but you don't keep dueling. You duel first, you gotta talk to a player and get their friendship rate up, or hearts. Once you get one full heart, you unlock an event with that character. You play a duel, and then you gotta go through the whole process again. Get them up another heart, and lather and repeat, or whatever the saying is. And that's one thing that's annoying about that is basically if you don't feel like dueling to raise their heart level, you can just talk to them, invite them as a partner, talk to other people, and raise their friendship rate that way. But I mean, who wants to do that? I want a duel. I want a duel to keep the story going on, but if I can just talk to people to get their friendship hearts up, then I'll just do that. It'll make the game go by faster and I can get to the important duels. But who wants to do that? I mean, you want a duel because you have to. But if you don't have to, and you just want to skip it, most people are going to do that because it makes the game go by faster. And that's one thing I don't like about that. I really wish they would have made the Tag Force games kind of like the World Championship games, where every time you won a duel, it kind of went to the next event and it continued on. This one, you can go all over the place. The first event, you could play an event with Yusei, and then the next moment you could play one with Jack. Then after that, Leo, then Luna, then Akiza, then Crow, and then some random person. Which can really confuse the shit out of you. And it's just not fun doing that. Another issue with this game, and I swear it's a huge issue, especially when I'm playing it, and maybe it's just because it's my PSP, is the waiting. Now, as I just mentioned before with the World Championships, when you're doing a computer, it has that little white bar with dots coming up, right? This game gets really bad with that. You could possibly wait, and I've timed this. It can take up to 5 minutes, and I'm being serious. It can take up to 5 minutes for your opponent just to play like one card. It's that bad. I mean, with this game, let's say you're waiting for your opponent to make a move. Okay, you can probably go to the kitchen, get a glass of pop or whatever, come back, oh, they've already made a move. Which is fine. This one, you can probably go to the kitchen, get a glass of pop, oh, go to the bathroom, come back up, and they're still thinking. It's that bad. It's terrible. I don't know how many minutes, actually not minutes, how many hours I've wasted waiting for our opponents to make the move. But I don't want to get too critical with this game, because the game isn't that bad. I mean, the graphics are amazing, especially with this game. The monster animations are terrific. But there's just some few things that make it so... Again, I don't want to say bad, but I don't know what else to say. But again, though, the gameplay, it's not so bad. I just wish when they made these games, they could have sort of based off the way they do World Championship. You know, beat a duel, you go to the next event, beat that duel, you go on. Not just talk to people, get their friendship hearts up, and play with that event. Because, like I said, you can go all over. You can play one event with Yusei, and the next it's Jack, and you can go all over the place, and that kind of makes it more confusing. And there's no turbo duels in this game. Even Tag Force 4. At least with all the World Championships, they had turbo duels. Now, they did really good with this one with the turbo duels because they actually had the World Racing Grand Prix. But, I mean, even with the other two games, there weren't very many turbo duels. But, there were some. This one, it's still 5Ds, you can tell. See, Yusei's on both covers. But this one has no tag duels. Although it is called Tag Force 5, yeah, tag duels. But, I mean, come on. You could have put turbo duels in here. I mean, even World Championship 2011, they put turbo tag duels. It's still a tag duel, but you're turbo dueling. They even did that. They couldn't do it for this? So, in conclusion, both games, they are good. Some of them have their problems, some of them have their good qualities. But if I really had to pick a better game, it's got to be the World Championship one. I mean, the graphics are better, the gameplay is better, the waiting for your opponents to make a move is good. It doesn't take as long as this one. So, I definitely gotta say the World Championship really takes the cake. And I'm actually hoping they do make a World Championship 2012. And who knows, maybe they'll make, what's it called? Yu-Gi-Oh! Zexal, or Zexal. It's on YouTube. It's like the season that comes after 5Ds. It's not bad, actually. So hopefully maybe that'll come out. Well, that's pretty much it, guys. I just wanted to tell you guys what I thought of Tag Force and the World Championships. And clearly, I think the World Championships did a lot better than the Tag Forces. But, again, the Tag Force does have some good qualities, but World Championship definitely takes the cake. So, on that, guys, I will see you next time, whenever that will be. Take care.